Today we're going to show you how to take your deer scouting to the next level. Now, in order to do this, what you're going to need, at the very least, is a handheld GPS. And what we're going to use are two functions, waypoints and the tracks function. Now, this is just a Garmin eTrex, and most GPSs that I've seen have some type of tracks function, but if you don't, basically, if it's not called tracks, basically all it is something that keeps track of your every step. So if you have it on, it's going to go ahead and plot out every step that you take. And so as we go about doing this, I'll show you as we go along how to use these tracks in order to take your scouting to the next level. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is find a deer trail. Now, I like to do it in the snow because it makes it a lot easier, and usually I do it right after the season's over because the deer are already pressured, they're not going to get messed up anymore, and I can get in there and tromp around as much as I want, and then once I get an idea of what the deer are doing, I'm going to back out, hang cameras, and just check periodically. Once you find a trail, next thing you're going to want to do is use your GPS in order to track every step on that trail. If you're on the trail, stay with the tracks on. If you're going to venture off the trail for a little bit, turn the tracks off, venture off the trail, come back, turn the tracks back on, and then head back on the trail. If you don't do that, it's going to get really confusing when you go back and look at it at the end. Now, next thing you're going to want to do is find the tracks on the menu. So again, this is a Garmin, and you're going to see that the third thing down on the left hand side is your tracks. So you're going to want to go into tracks, and up at the top there's a toggle, and you can turn it on or off. So right now it's off, now it's on. I'm going to turn it back off, but when you're on a trail you're going to want to turn it on. If you've been to this spot before and you had tracks on, clear your tracks. You can do that by going right there and hitting that button. Okay, I'm not going to do that because I got stuff in there that I want, but that's how you turn them on and off. So when you're on a trail, keep them on. When you want to walk off the trail, turn it back off. It's that simple. Now, once you've had tracks on for a while, I want to show you what it looks like. So you can see on here, it creates a line. And that line is your track. Now, as you come across things that are interesting to you, like beds, crossings, scrapes, rubs, anything along those lines, make sure you mark them on your GPS using waypoints. That's where the waypoints come in very handy. And make sure you name them something that makes sense and you're going to remember. If you don't, then you're going to be very confused when you go back to look at what you did. We're back at the house now, and I want to show you why you want to make sure that you carefully point out the things that are of importance to you when you're scouting, because this is what your GPS is going to look like when you're done scouting. And you can see there that if you're not careful and you don't plot stuff out very carefully, why it's going to be so easy to get confused when you get back and start trying to put everything together. The next step in taking your scouting to the next level is to plot everything out. In order to do that, you're going to want to download Google Earth. And Google Earth is free, and what it'll do is give you the ability to put everything that you've found and plot everything else that you've found out on a map. Now, in order to plot things out, I want to kind of show you how to do that here. So you got your GPS, and in this case I just have a test one, and you can see here, right here, I have a track. And you can also see up in this top left hand corner here, right here, you have your map GPS points. So all you have to do when you're plotting this stuff out is to follow your cursor along a deer trail, and you can, at that point, the coordinates up here will change. And in Google Earth, you can just plot stuff out. So let me show you how to plot something out. So what you're going to do to plot something out on Google Earth is to come up here and you're going to click on this button right here. And what it's going to do is it's going to come up and it's going to say Untitled Place Mark, and on there you have the lat and longitude. Well, if you have your GPS handy, you can just plug your lat and longitude that's right here into that point. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. When you do that and you hit OK, now it'll put that point on the map for you. Now I'm just doing this in my house, so you can see that the point right there is pointing at my house. So what I would recommend is that you can take that point right there and use that as a starting point, and then you can create another one which is right next to it. I'm just going to move it over here just to show you an example. And if you want to plot out a deer plot or a deer path, then you can just do that right here, and then you come up to the top and there's a path setting on here which is right there, and you're going to add your path, and when you do that a similar box comes up, and what you're going to do is go ahead and name it whatever. So I'm going to name that deer path, and you can actually put a point on the map right where that point is, and then just draw a point to where that is. And then once you do that, then you're going to take your next spot in line, and let's say you got another, that trail goes and you want it goes over in this direction. Well, you can take this place mark and change the coordinates of it to get to the next one. I'm just going to drag it for simplicity's sake and put in your coordinates of the next one, and then again take your path, go into this same path actually, and you're going to want to right click on it, get info, and then from there you're going to be able to now draw the next leg of that path. And so you just keep doing that. And if you actually have like deer bedding areas or anything like that, you can use these pins to mark bedding areas, rub lines, whatever you want to do. And you can also come in here and on this path, when you go to get info, you can put whatever you want in here, like a heavy trail, something along those lines. And that way when you start getting multiple paths in here and you click on that, now it pops up and it says it's a heavy trail. So that's kind of how you use Google Earth. And I'm just using it a little bit here and there and the simple basic functions, but what it's going to do for you is when you get to a spot that you really like and you have it all mapped out, this is what it's going to look like. And so now you can see here where I have trails all through this. That's what this is the end point of that first GPS plotting that I showed you. This is what that area was. So I just took all those paths and plotted it out, and I put in, like, I marked my cameras. I got a camera here, I got a camera here. We had beds up here. This was a major crossing right here. All kinds of stuff. Oh, here's a tree that I want to get into. So you got all kinds of stuff that you can do, and what it's going to do is when you do this for all of your spots, you can just print everything out and lay it out on the ground and say, all right, you know what? I have a northwest wind today, so what's a good stand? What are all the different places that I have and where the wind's going to be in my favor, and I have a high density of deer trails coming through here. So if you can do this, one, it'll help you to remember everything that you've scouted, and two, it'll help you to get something down. You can study it, and you can also go back and as you scout, if something changes, you can just come in here and update your maps. So that in itself, using the combination of a GPS with waypoints and tracks, along with mapping it out on Google Earth, will take your deer scouting to the next level. Hope you like this video. Thanks for watching.